Good evening, everybody. Welcoming you all in as you all are coming in. Getting ready to get started here in just a moment. Tuning in to Kicking It. We're about to go ahead and have this after show.
Is the
We're going to
after
discuss a little GOAT talk,
is the after show?
the after show. Yeah, so last week, we did it right after the episode aired. You all keep coming in here, like it, share it. We did it right after, but by the time we finished, it was after midnight. So we decided to go ahead and move it on over to Monday. And so here we are on our new evening. It's the same channel, same people. We just here to kick it, and we're inviting you all to kick it with us. And we're gonna go ahead and introduce ourselves, starting with my co-host.
Yo, everybody, this is Pastor George. Well, that's not my name. My name is actually George, but I am a pastor. And tonight we're going to be dealing with Kicking It, talking about GOAT Talk. We're talking about The Last Dance. And it's an awesome privilege. It's an awesome pleasure of mine to be able to share with you my thoughts. I know everyone is asking on out there on the internet, what is George thinking about when it comes down to basketball and sports and the last dance. I know that's what's in your mind. So I said, let me do y'all a favor and come on this Kicking It and just share with you a little bit about the last dance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody, I'm Shay. You may know me as Byron. Some know me as Pastor Crockett. It's all the same. So however you know me, whatever you call me, you continue to do so. As people are still coming in here, just kind of give you all the conception how we came to start this thing called Kicking It. George and I, we both pastored in Southeastern Conference, which is down in Florida, and we were just tired of waiting for people to create something for us, and we just decided to go ahead and create something. And so we began to put our minds together, and we came up with this concept of just taking the sneaker culture and various hot topics, whether they be religious, whether they be sports, whether they be political, and just kicking it. We love sneakers, and when we wear our sneakers, we're just letting this generation know that this is a safe place. Whatever's on your heart, you can feel free to bring those things to this circle. And so that's how it kind of started. George, you want to say anything about it?
Nah, we're just two Florida boys, and we just want to ask y'all. I see we have some people who are tuning in. Go in and share, so that we can get this conversation. This is not going to be just, well, if no one comes in, me and my boy, we have no problem kicking it, but we want to be able to
Yeah,
engage you
yeah, yeah.
all and in this conversation about what we saw yesterday. Those two episodes. Episode was it 5 and 6, and yeah, man, it just so we here. This is exactly what it is. We love shoes. We're a part of this urban shoe culture as it may be called, and as a pastor, so many times people will look at us, or at least me, and say, I can tell that you're a pastor by the way you dress, or by the shoes you wear, or by how you talk. But the reality of it all is there's more to a minister than what he wears, right? And I think that God has
Yeah.
blessed Shay and I both to be able to connect with young people just through our sense of love for the shoe game.
Absolutely. So, man, let's dive into this episode. One of the things that we're really striving to do is to keep this thing concise. Last week, we went a little longer than we anticipated.
We
It was
was
our
up here
first
till like
show. The
midnight.
conversation in the chat room was jumping, and time got away from us. So we're gonna try to keep this thing to about 30 minutes. And if it goes beyond that, we call that overtime, but it won't press forward more than that. So let's dive into this episode. These two episodes that we saw on last evening, man. First and foremost, I just want to start off with talking about teams, like the importance of having a team, being a part of a team. And personally, and we're talking about basketball, but these things, you can apply these things to all of our walks of life.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was pastoring down in Central Florida. Was doing I was happy where I was. I was home. but there was an opportunity for me to join another team. And when I mean team, I'm talking about a pastoral team. And I weighed out the options. I prayed about it, and it's just been a great situation being a part of this team, right? And so as we look at this team that we were looking at, the Chicago Bulls, right? I mean, amazing team, one of the greatest all-time greats. But within this episode of looking at the Chicago Bulls, I enjoyed also looking at this dream team that was put together, the
Yeah.
Olympic team, right?
Yeah, 1992. Yeah. The original Dream Team. They had some
Right.
ballers on
So
there. Yeah, they did.
yeah. No. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying they had some ballers on there, and I mean, there really wasn't any weak position. I mean, from guard all the way to center, like 1 through 5, they were very solid.
Solid.
Yeah,
Right. And
solid.
so one of the hot topics in there was Isaiah Thomas not making the cut, dude. What'd you feel about that?
Ooh, man, if you really want to know what I thought about this whole Isaiah Thomas situation, Deb, Pastor Snell says, "Glad you joined the F." Pastor Snell, real talk. You're glad, but I'm
Yeah, what's
mad. You
up?
know, so you're glad, but I'm mad. We're gonna get to that in a little bit when we get to Tony Kukoc. You know, but real talk. But what was the question again? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Deb.
we're talking about Isaiah Thomas not
Yeah,
making
man.
the
Yo,
team.
yo.
Like, what were your thoughts on that? And make sure everybody likes and share
Yeah,
as you all
man.
are joining in.
Like and share and like. So the whole Isaiah Thomas thing was kind of crucial to me because just hearing Isaiah speak about, I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. This is the dream team. For a while now, the Americans were not doing as well on the national level. So somehow they made it so that they were able to get professionals onto the Olympic scene, and it's for me it was crucial that you had the best players at every position to be on that team. And as you look at Isaiah Thomas, like even he says it, and even Michael Jordan says it, like after Magic Johnson, like Isaiah Thomas literally is the next best thing. So
Right.
in terms of resumes, Shay,
Mm-hmm.
right? He was qualified to be on that dream team. He should have been on a dream team. And so I don't know if it's politics. I don't know what it is. But the thing hurts me because it shows me that just because you're qualified doesn't mean that you get selected.
Yeah. And I want to stay there for a moment because, like, even in today's world, when we're talking about applying for jobs and stepping into careers, like resume versus personality,
Yeah.
like, does it matter? Because here Isaiah has arguably at the point guard position
Yeah.
the second best resume,
Resume.
right?
I mean, he's a champion.
Right.
Yeah.
But as far as personality goes, because before this show aired, the narrative was that really it was just Jordan and Pippen that didn't want to play with him. That's what all I
Yeah.
heard. I know
Yeah.
may have been some other narratives, but that was primarily the narrative that I saw or heard. But now we're starting to see, Bird didn't really, rock with him like that. Magic didn't rock with Pippen, So we see personality does matter. Like, do people want to work with you?
It does. And I mean, so is it politics or is it chemistry? I mean, which one is it? Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're trying to win a gold, medal and by any means necessary, sometimes even as a team, now I get it. Chemistry plays a big part in winning, but you kind of want to have the best point guard out there as well. And so I don't know, is it chemistry or is it politics?
See, I think it's a little bit of both. I think you have to understand your value, right? And the thing about it is, and I'm not saying Isaiah did anything wrong. That's who he was, right? And it worked for him. He's a champion, right? But when you look at where he was, he's the second best point guard at that time, right?
Yeah.
Some arguably would say ever. But on that team, did they need him to win? No.
Yeah. I mean,
They didn't. So if it, like I said, like it had been 4 years previously, then maybe he can walk around, be arrogant, cocky, rude, be a jerk, pretty much a bully, and people still need him. Jordan hadn't really come to his full self yet, But at this stage in time, He really didn't
Yo,
have the political power or the
listen.
need to be a jerk.
Can I
In
say this to
essence,
you? Can I say this to you? You know,
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I take wisdom from the men of God anytime in the week, especially on a Monday night. My man says this: production over personality any day, any day. If I'm a GM, if I'm who's putting to, it was Rob Thorne who's putting together that team. If I'm Rob Thorne and I'm looking for the best players out there, you know, sometimes you got to put personalities aside. Production is key. So I don't know if I'm saying what Deb is trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say. He's saying production over personality. I don't know. I'm looking for the best player.
And that is a pillar. Listen, that is a pillar that Snell stands on. Like he really believes that, and I'm right there with him too. Like, are you going to get the job done? I agree,
Yeah,
but in the same sentence, if if you're bringing more stress to the situation,
yeah,
like, and we
yeah.
can get the job done, we can win the goal without you.
I mean, it's
Then
facts.
I gotta weigh out.
They won it without him. They didn't need him. They won it without him.
Right.
Would have been
In that
easier.
case, yeah, it would have been easier, perhaps, or there would have been an internal rift. I think personality matters because
I think so too.
can
I
you
think so
be a
too.
part of the team?
Yeah, I think so. So I mean, in terms of the long run, when you're building a team, you want production, but personality, chemistry matters. I mean, and I think that goes. I mean, across the board, in any industry, not only in basketball or on a pastoral staff. I mean, in any industry, like if you're working at a job, I think that chemistry is key because don't nobody want to be working with somebody that just makes work a living, you know, a living hell. So I think I totally agree with what you're saying. Um, to that end, yeah, I think that. But I wish Zeke would have been on that thing. Zeke
It would have been
deserved
nice.
it.
It'd have been nice.
You know, he had the resume for it. And I guess for me,
Yeah, he did.
I'm always pulling for the underdog. Like I feel as though your gifts should make room for you, no matter what the circumstances are.
Excuse
And
me.
so that's how it is.
So let's keep moving. Because another part of this episode was the whole Tony Kukoc situation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um,
The
you know, we see. Go ahead.
And I was going to say the whole Tony Kukoc slash leaving us to go over there situation. I got you. I got you.
Right. So we see. I just got that. So we see here Kraus who is putting together has thus far put together a great team, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But it also seems as though he's never satisfied, right? He's always looking for the next great talent, and I do think that we shouldn't settle, right? We
yeah,
don't want to be complacent. We always need to improve, but I think you got thoroughbreds, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
got horses
yeah.
that are currently
I mean,
handling business,
producing,
and he's not watching their games.
yeah,
He's overseas.
producing at a high level. Like your boy Jared Cross is the quintessential person who's always looking for the greener grass on the other side. And I don't know if that's a part of your job requirement as a GM. What I do know is that when you have arguably the best player in the game, right, and then maybe another top
Hmm.
five on the same roster, you don't go over to Croatia talking about you looking for their replacement. I mean, that makes no sense to me. I mean, what are you
Right.
trying to prove? And I think a part of that is just his sense of hubris. Like he really believes that was the championships that they have had won up until that point was a makeup of his skill as a general manager or a team president. And for me, I think that it's all about talent. It's all about the people who are playing, their sweats, the physical activity that they put in. I mean, the workouts, like the gym time, the skills that they develop. I mean, that's where the buck stop for me. Not necessarily in the front office.
Right. And one of the things I appreciated about this was once again we see this concept of team, right? We see the Chicago Bulls, Pippen and Jordan band together and like, listen, we about to come together and we about to show Cross, who in the episode they pretty much they give the analogy that he's the dad and
Yeah,
he's not happy with his kids. He's looking
yeah,
for more kids, right? And so they're out to show him like this is who you bringing in. He's not on our level,
yo,
right?
yo, and
And then you also see the dream team.
yeah, I was about to go there. I was going to say like that goes back to what you were saying about the whole chemistry thing. Like who knows how that whole scenario would have played out if Zeke was there. But you see how Jordan and Pippen say, look, yo, they're trying to pay everybody. Kraus is trying to pay this dude from Croatia, while like Jordan and while Pippen hasn't even signed his contract yet. What I like about that whole Dream Team scenario is like that vibe. Like they say, we're not going to lose to Croatia, and furthermore, we're going to make sure that this kid Tony Kukoc knows what time it is, and to see how the team just rallied around those guys and made sure that you like literally they came up with the Kukoc rules, and they had him,
Yeah,
man. They had
yeah.
his number. I mean, your boy couldn't do nothing in that first game, so yeah, it was crazy.
So now another dynamic that played out in the episode, when we look at Jordan, right, and his family dynamic, his
Yeah,
support system, right, and we compare that to Pippen, and while they didn't really go into all of Pippen's family dynamics, we
yeah.
see that Jordan had a large support system, a strong support
A
system.
strong, yeah, yeah. And if you're going to even compare and contrast, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying they like you can tell that Jordan's support system was probably a little bit more well put together than Scottie Pippen at
Right.
that time. Yeah,
And to the point to where, like, he doesn't even have any interest
yeah,
in Nike, right?
yeah,
He wanted to go with Adidas or Converse,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Nike ain't even on the radar.
Bro, and it shows you like the benefit of having wisdom in your corner. Like literally, Jordan at that time is playing checkers while like these shoe companies are playing chess, and his dad has got to like his pops literally has to pull him aside and say, "Look, you go into Converse, you're not even number three on totem pole. Like you got
Wow.
Magic, you got
Yeah.
freaking you got Larry Bird. I mean, they had everybody on there, and then maybe you're number five or six in terms of just exposure. And so sometimes you got to better yourself. You got to better yourself. You got to take a chance on yourself. And that's what he did. He goes with this upstart. Y'all saw the thing. He goes with the upstarts Nike, and literally, they sell over 126 million in his first year. That's crazy. He bet on himself and he won. Yeah,
And so I think one of the ways we can kind of take this and apply it to our lives, like as we're out here, as individuals out here courting and dating and shooting shots and hollering, like make sure you're trying to pick somebody you can be with for the long haul, right?
yeah,
Because one of the things I always say, to my mom and my dad is like when I become as I'm a parent now, I'm going to gauge my success as a parent based upon what I have allowed or created for as a head start for my children.
mm-hmm.
You know, and for Jordan's family to be able to sit him down and for him to have the humility to listen to his parents. Right?
That's real talk.
He's about to be a professional basketball player,
That's
but
real
he
talk.
still respects his parents enough to listen to what his dad says. His dad
Yeah,
says, "No, you're going to Nike to listen to what they have to say."
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and we compare that to what happened with Pippen, man. Like support systems matter.
Your community matters, man. I think that like if you're going to be successful, that's one of the things we talked about back when I was in school. They used to always be hard nosed on building a concentric circle, an accountability system or a community, and I think that's crucial. I mean, no one person is an island. Like you're not going to be able to make it on yourself by yourself. You don't have all the knowledge and the wisdom wrapped up into yourself, and so I think having that community is key. And we see that in Pippin's situation. We don't know all of the ins and out, but we do realize that maybe if someone would have said to him, I know it's rough, but with the little bit that you're making now, it'll be more than you've ever made before. That perhaps you can hold on for 2 or 3 years and then re-up on a bigger contract, on a larger contract, and be set for
Right.
the rest of your life. And that's kind of what we see with Jordan. Like his dad tells him, don't look at the here and now. Let's see how this thing is going to pan out. And like he bet it on himself. And look at us now. Like 2020 and last week, people are still buying these retro Jordans that come out. So yo, he
Yeah,
chose right.
me included. Me included.
Yeah,
I'm
you
still
got
buying
some.
them now.
Yeah,
And just to tap,
I got
just to
some
stay on
coming
this
in the
for just
mail.
okay, you're reading up. Just to hit on this for just a second more. Like it's important the teams that we create too. like you were saying, like
Community, yeah,
the people who are surrounding us, the
yeah,
community, right? The
yeah,
people who we bouncing ideas off of, the
yeah.
people who aren't afraid to pull you aside and say, "Yo, you are tripping. What has gotten into
But
you?"
you need that in your life. You need somebody. And honestly, I'm gonna say this, and this ain't no bro love moment, but like I'm blessed to have like people like you in my life. Like literally, there are times where you can literally say to me, "You're tripping," and that alone is good enough to like get your attention and for you to have enough trust in your board that he's telling you the truth for you to kind of redirect yourself in the straight and narrow. And I mean, like literally, if you didn't have this community, where would we be? So
Yeah,
I think it's
it's a different. It's same here, bro. And I feel the same way. And it's vantage points.
yeah.
Like when you're asking somebody on your team to be a part of your team, you're asking them because they have a different vantage point.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have to have the same vantage point as you.
And the same
You need different vantage points.
and different experiences as well. I guess that's what you're saying when you say vintage points, like different life experiences, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely. I'm looking at the time. Time is getting away from us. So let's man, there was a very it was a real moment when the whole line Republicans buy sneakers too, right?
Ooh,
Like
that's so.
that
Listen,
was that was a little touchy. That was a little touchy,
can we get
right?
into athletes and social justice, and then can we kind of put a
And
caveat? Can we kind of pivot to what I call the greatest of all time? Athlete off the court.
I think
One of them
that's
at least.
hands down. I think that's
I was gonna say it's either LeBron or Muhammad Ali, but LeBron in recent
yeah,
years has been that,
yeah.
and it's when you look at Jordan's story, like I mean, I can't say I get it because I've never been in his shoes, but I think that we have to understand that there were there were realities involved in him endorsing or not endorsing, right? Either way you go, like you're going to upset a segment of people, and you're going to lose some real money. You're going to lose some real money. And so maybe I don't know if that's why he never really was socially active publicly, because he says he was behind closed doors. But in terms of publicly, I don't know if that was the case. One thing that he does say that I don't know if I agree with, and you and I talked about that a little bit in a production meeting, is that he said that he's just a basketball player and he's not he's not a politician. He's just a basketball player. So at the end of the day, how much stock should we put on people? Who are athletes? Are they should there be our heroes on the court as well as off the court? Kind of like how your boy used to say, Charles Barkley, "I'm not a role model." Like how much stock do we put in that?
Yeah. A couple things. I will echo in my lifetime. This is where I give LeBron an edge, right? Like we talking about GOAT,
Yeah,
if off the court,
and on the court, yeah, yeah.
he's there.
Off
And
the
I'm
court,
not
he's
gonna
there.
lie, even though probably GOAT supposed to just be dealing with on the court, like this kind of makes me, I don't know, it has a little bad taste in my mouth,
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm a Jordan fan, I wish he'd have put money aside, right? And if he had a conscience, if he had a view on it, spoke to it. I don't think it's enough when kids are buying your sneakers at $100 a pop and $150 a pop. Like, what do you mean you don't want to be a role model? Like you taking their money?
I hear that.
Like what do you mean? It comes with the territory. You're getting rich. You're getting filthy rich off
Yeah,
of their money.
I hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you're a role model.
Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah,
Accept it.
and I guess I don't know if it's different eras, but I do know that now in this era where like in the era where the cell phone and technology has brought to the forefront like the physical the visual injustices that we used to hear about but didn't see, but now we actually see them. Like now we have a whole bunch of athletes who are part of this new media culture, and as a result, they have no I think they have no choice but to speak out against these injustices. And so, I salute LeBron. I remember, I think a couple years ago, after was it last year at the All Star game when him and Dwayne Wade and all of these guys got together, and they made a statement. And some people didn't like it. They told him, your job is to play basketball, dribble the ball and shut up, basically. And so for him to take that chance, because the same chances that he took would have been the same chances that Michael Jordan would have taken back in the day. And so I don't think that I don't think that we can safely say that basketball players are to just be purely athletes and not necessarily be involved in their community. We want them to be involved when they're giving out free things, but then we want them to be quiet when it's time for them to speak up against what they perceive as being what they perceive as injustices. So I agree with you. He is definitely one of the goats, if not the greatest of all time in terms of being off the field, what he's done for his community. But we got to throw Muhammad Ali in that conversation as well.
Yeah, yo, man. So for potentially our last subject, man, let's deal with, I guess the dark eye, the black eye, the blemish. One of the blemishes to Jordan's legacy was the whole gambling situation, gambling gate.
Yeah, gambling gate. I mean, trying to look at it from his perspective, because I can't really, I don't want to necessarily judge him for, speaking about this situation from my understanding and my perspective. But Jordan is a millionaire, a multimillionaire, and what he said when he had that interview with Michael Wilbon, I think was for me an eye opening, because you grew up hearing that he has issues with gambling, with being so competitive that he loses $10,000 here, $100,000 there, 75,000 somewhere else. And so you're looking at these things, you're saying he may have a problem. But then I guess if you look at it in terms of percentages, really is it really a problem? If you're making $100 million and you lose $50,000, and so I think that his excuse to it was that, but I think I would have wished that he would have better job at dealing with the situation in terms of how he conveyed what he thought was a non-issue to the media. I think he did a poor job at allowing the media to kind of set the narrative for him in terms of his off the court situations.
Yeah, I'm gonna go another direction, and as I was just thinking and hearing you talk, you just kind of, I don't know, it put a little bad taste in my mouth. I ain't gonna lie. Not what you said, but just the whole Jordan situation, man. And that it's like he's spitting in people's faces.
We talking about
Like
Jordan?
you got people, I mean, you blowing hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And people don't saved up their lunch money, you know. They don't use their last to buy your sneakers, and that's what you're doing. You just throwing the money away, and they gonna act like it ain't nothing, because when you look at all the money I made, what's 100 grand here? What's a million there? Like that joint is disrespectful. Now I'm thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? And I think if that's what he likes to do, okay. But you don't gotta be so on the front with it, and then act like it ain't nothing. Like
Yeah.
when it's to you, you know what? Yeah, there's probably some ways I could use my money. You know what I'm saying? And then also when I look at somebody like LeBron, if LeBron was gambling, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't, I don't think it would be as big of a deal,
Yeah.
because you see what LeBron does on the front end. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on that.
I mean, how he gets his money, I think is not
Oh
necessarily
man,
determining. You see what Brent put up? Let me put it up again. Hold on. This is Brent. Brent from Orlando, my man.
yeah,
He says LeBron is the GOAT of buying championships. We'll get to that in a couple weeks, man. But but you
I
know,
like the energy.
yeah,
I
the
like that
energy.
energy.
Yo, but I was saying is like, yeah, how he got his money. I think that's his business. Like you can't fault him for spending his money and talking about he gets his money from other people. Buying his shoes or buying tickets to the game. Like we all get paid some way. Like the money that is generated for us to make our paychecks, it is what it is. So, but no one can dictate to you how you spend your paycheck. Like I can't say to you, yo, Shay, I put money in the offering, and it goes up to the conference every week, every month, and as a result, you get a nice little paycheck. Uh, and I don't want you buying shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't dictate to somebody what they're gonna do with their money. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, I kind of hear what you're saying in terms of it's a slap in the face that people are struggling to buy shoes, and then he's turning around and he's gambling that money away. Um, but I mean,
Well,
everybody has their
I'm
hobbies.
not even, my issue isn't really that he gambled it away.
Okay.
My issues is when confronted on the issue, it's just like, yeah, so what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, dog, just rub it in our faces that we're broke and you're poor. Like
Yeah.
the money that we're spending to buy your shoes, you flushing down the toilet in essence.
I think I have one of the greatest Michael Jordan fans on here is my friend named Luke Son Fortune. Growing up in Tampa, I had to give him a shout out. Growing up in Tampa, when I was probably in high school, our church had a basketball team, and that brother used to play. He patterned his game right after Michael Jordan. Luke Son, if you're on, man, say what's up. Yeah. So you're right. I mean, I guess to each his own. I think how you handle adversity is important. How you handle obstacles is important. And you're correct. I think you're correct to that end. That Michael didn't do a good job at meeting the situation with wisdom. He probably was like, I'm above this. I don't need to answer to nobody, and you see how it backfired. So you're right. You're right.
So we're at that time, man. It's 8:32, man. But I want to end with
9:32
like
Eastern.
closing thoughts. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? Or yeah, 9:32 your time. Closing thoughts on the episode.
well, I mean, this is a new kind of format. We have a lot of things going on in terms of the content that we want to produce for you guys going forward. We want to continue to ask you to be attentive to Kickin'It 316. The 316 is for John 3:16. Again, we're both believers, and we believe in Jesus Christ, and we also believe in you. And so we want you to continue to tune on in, to share our videos, to share our content, and to join us in the conversation. Like literally, we don't want this to be just a podcast or a live where Shay and I are just talking and talking to each other. But we want you to be involved in it as well, so that we can get some questions, try to answer those questions, and maybe even enhance the whole situation. We want to thank all you guys who tuned in today. It was awesome. Thank you for your inputs. AJ couldn't be here today. Mr. Ted, he's saying, "Hey fellas," and he's literally sad that he couldn't be here. But next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, tune on in. We're gonna deal with I guess was it gonna be 7 and 8, and hopefully we can get deeper in the whole goat talk. Hopefully by then, my shoes will be here, Shay. I can get to show it. I don't know how the shipping
A
works
little drip.
with the
A little drip.
coronavirus, but we'll check it
So
out.
so let's do two things. I want to share
My
a
shoes
little
in
drip,
my shoes in the room right
a
now.
little
But
drip.
so what drip you got?
And then I also want to leave with I guess my final thought as I think about the episode. Um, Man, the way you climb is important.
Yeah,
The way you do people, the way you treat people on the way up is important
yeah,
because there's gonna come a time when you're gonna need somebody,
yeah,
right? And listen, if you gained your success by being a bad boy, you know, yo, live with your success on your team. But when nobody else wants to play with you, like, don't be mad that they don't want to rock with you. Don't be mad that they don't want to be on your team.
that,
Like,
that,
what
that
you did work for you.
that's the gospel. That's the gospel. That's the gospel. Yeah, well said. Can I give my closing thoughts? I
Now,
guess I don't know if can I give it one final thought?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Uh, when you're making personal purchases without first checking in, uh, rule of thumb is don't share that on live. Don't share that on
Oh,
live.
I saw Sonya jump in there and said
I
shoes.
see. I see.
Man, he told us, man, you green lighted it.
Yeah, she greenlit it. All right.
So
All right.
so let me
Woo!
share this pair of shoe with you all. So these are the Fear of God Air Raids. I like this shoe. It's sleek. It's like a remix of the old Air Raids. I don't know if y'all remember those old Air
Yeah, I
Raids.
got the air
And the
raids.
reason why I really like this shoe is because it almost looks churchy. So like
You can rock
on
them
our
to church.
casual Sabbaths, I'll throw this on and wear it to church. And yeah, it's a pretty clean, pretty dope
Sonia, bring me my
shoe.
Jordans real quick.
And it's
The new
budget
ones.
friendly.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Say what?
I was talking to Sonia, but go ahead. Go ahead. You said it's budget friendly.
Yeah, so that's the shoe I want to show. Cause the other his the main pair of gods that this shoe designer makes, they run like 400 out the gate, like
Oh
three
wow.
fifty, 400.
Oh wow.
And I don't got that. But this is a poor man's version. It's a poor man's
Yo,
version. And they still have these on StockX and Go and
can
whatever.
we talk about that All Star team you're on right now? You're part of an All Star team, and at first, at first, I was a little bit angry. I was sad, because you left your boy, but I'm happy, man. I think that it's all about, like you're saying, growth. It's about being able to be somewhere where you're comfortable, and where God gives you opportunities. Don't laugh about these shoes. These shoes here, I bought them for the same reason you got yours, right? Uh, the,
Okay.
these are some Jordans, and they're just for literally just they're casual shoes you can wear with khakis, and yeah, man, these are I think they came out not too long ago, and I love them. I love them. Not expensive at all. Not expensive at all.
One thing I like about you, George, you like what you like, man.
Yeah,
And I think that's important. I think that's important, man. No, honestly, like you can't be a hype beast just going after everything that
them
everybody
Pumas.
is saying is hot.
Yeah,
Buy what you like.
I think that's key.
So
Rock what you
I
like.
respect that.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. Yo, Shay, it's a
So let's
pleasure as
sign out,
always.
man. Absolutely, man. Matter of fact, let's do this, man. Let's end with the word of prayer, man.
All right, bet.
All right. Our God in heaven, we're grateful for everybody who tuned in and who will view this show later. And right now, we're asking as we are coming out of this quarantine season, some of us back into society, perhaps prematurely. We're just asking that your hedge of protection would be fortified continuously with your blood, that you will lead, guide, and direct us. And while the enemy is attacking in various ways, we ask that you would continue to speak to us clearly, that we would clearly be able to hear your voice, that you would enlarge the way of escape for us, make it so large, God, that we can't help but fall into it. Then also that still sort of voice, that you would increase it in our ears so that it's almost like you're yelling at us. We can't help but hear your voice when we make the decisions in life. This is our prayer in Christ that we pray. Amen. God bless you all. Like, share,
Subscribe.
join, follow us on Kicking It. Take care, everybody. Blessings.